stellar student. Charges are pending. Is he the one who tried to blow up my car too? Why? No. Some reunion, someone's going to get drunk and that's going to pop out. Yeah, well, that could be too.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Tuesday, August 9th, 2022 Public Works Committee meeting. Now is time for roll call and determination of quorum.
Lehman. Here. Evans. Here. Roberts.
Here.
Roseland. Here. Stroman. Here. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Now is time for the adoption of the agenda. We have a motion by Councilman Lehman and a second by Councilman Stroman. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Now is time for general public comment. This is a time for members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the committee on any issue not limited to items on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. And we do have one speaker. Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Public Works Committee. Good afternoon. Pat Jones, representing Ward 1 on the City Council. I come before you today with a concern that I am wanting to hopefully get the Public Works Committee to look at on your agenda 2 weeks from today. Here's the situation. I received a phone call from a gentleman who lives on Parkview Drive in the south part of Rapid City. Parkview Drive recently had a tremendous street replacement project done. Parkview going from Fairmont Boulevard, which is near Circle S, to the south, up and over several side streets. It was an excellent project, and it looks great. The only problem is several of the folks who had their boulevards redone in rock are having significant weed problems. And one of the residents called me to come look at it. I talked to him. He said he never had that bad of a weed problem before. I talked to a few others, same thing. And so the gentleman that called me was concerned that the proper materials were used to underneath the rock and all that. So I contacted Public Works Director Tech. He got me in touch with the engineer that was in charge of the project, and he responded that all the specs were followed and it was done right, and that was all there is to it. So I replied to that gentleman that I don't think that's appropriate, and I don't think it's right that it's become so easy for us to just tell the taxpayers when they have a concern, oh, too bad, so sad, you just have to deal with it. I think we need to work on becoming more user-friendly in our neighborhoods and to our taxpayers. If a resident had a yard full of weeds, we would expect them to take care of it. Who knows if the layer of fabric that was put down during the landscaping part of this project stopped the weeds or didn't. There are a lot of we don't knows. However, I believe there are some things we could do to work with the people who live there to try to abate the weeds. Something as simple as coordinating a weed spray one time going through there, either if our Parks Department sprays or we contract with someone in town that does that for a living. There's certainly several businesses that do that, to go through and do a spraying to try to help abate. And then once we do that, if the weeds continue, then we tried. But to just say, well, too bad, they just have to deal with it, I don't think that's the right approach that we should be taking as a city. I think we should try to work more with our residents who live here and try to help them solve their problems rather than just put up a wall and say, too bad, the project's done. So I'm asking that that be placed on the agenda for 2 weeks from today so it could be discussed by Public Works and we can get some dialogue going as to what to do and perhaps how to approach these kinds of situations. Because the street project was beautiful. It was a challenging project because it was up and down and it wasn't done very well before. Now it looks beautiful and the residents through there are very happy about that, but it's being tarnished a bit by this weed thing. So that's why I come before you today asking that it can be put on the agenda for 2 weeks from now for more discussion. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if not, we'll leave it at that.
Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
About 2.5 years ago, somebody in a wheelchair came before us and started talking about the hazards that were caused by gravel. After a rainstorm, ending up on the sidewalks. And I thought we had come to some kind of consensus at that point that really we were going to move away from even offering this gravel infill for the boulevard strips as an option for these kind of things. They're very high maintenance in this neighborhood because we're not a desert climate, we're a semi-arid, high plains environment, and they tend to collect dirt, dust, and grow weeds all the time. I think it is something we need to, by policy, frankly, eliminate, and it's unfortunate that these people have chosen that. I think it's a bad choice, and I don't think it's an environmentally safe choice in this particular climate, even though you may not have to water it. So I thought we were in the process of doing something to eliminate that problem in the first place because of the gravel wash, particularly after long, big extended cloud bursts that was putting it all on the sidewalk. So anyhow, I just wanted to comment on that. But this discussion started 2.5 years ago concerning that.
Anybody else have any comments? If not, I have a few. So this isn't the first time I've ever seen this, Pat. I've seen it over on, I believe it was West St. Anne many years ago. And I guess I do have a couple of questions for who's taking this over? Dale? Okay. Has this project been taken over by the city yet?
Yes, it's finalized. The project's been finalized.
And how long ago was it finalized?
So last fall, the project was finalized. So was that the 2-year warranty period? Okay, so the end of the project. So it's currently in a 2-year warranty period.
Okay. And are there any plans right now for any kind of abatement at the moment?
Your microphone.
Yeah, thank you for the question. We have contacted the contractor and asked them to go out there and spray the weeds. We haven't heard back from them yet. My inspector goes down and checks on it on a weekly basis. We've noticed through the project that some areas do have quite a few weeds. Most of the areas do not, you know, and the rock was placed, the areas that Councilman Jones was talking about, it was a little thicker than usual, and it looks like it's collected some dirt and growing weeds. But we've asked the contractor to spray, and we don't have results yet from that, sorry.
So
Not a
has the
problem.
spraying taken place yet, or you're waiting for it to happen?
We haven't seen any evidence of that.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we can get that from staff when the time comes on it. I think that the point I'm trying to make on this is it's roughly been a year since this project's been completed. There was probably growth last fall beforehand, and I'm not under the same as my council person sitting beside me. I like the rock. I've got rock at my house. But I also have to spray my weeds multiple times a year, and I don't expect the city to do it at some point. I can see that, you know, if they're planning on doing it during this period, that's fine. But, you know, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's happened before. We've had this come before us before. And here's the interesting thing about it. I remember the last time it came before us, we did the same thing. We went out and sprayed. We took care of it, you know, and, you know, I think that you saying that the city just lets people go isn't true. I really don't. I think that we do our best as a city to make these projects work. And, you know, there are times, too, where I've seen, because, again, I remember when this happened years ago, down in Southeast Rapid, the majority of the houses that I saw that were having the real big weed problems had real big weed problems in their yard. They weren't the ones that were out spending, you know, like myself, a lot of money per every year to have Kimlon take care of my yard.
Sure. And
so
the email that I sent to the engineer that I was communicating with, I never got a response to when I mentioned, well, are we going to do any spraying or anything like that? So if they would have responded to me, I wouldn't be standing here today. But I just, you know, I want us to be in a mode of trying to work with the public rather than just tell them, you know, too bad. And Mr. Roberts, I would agree. I believe many times we do a good job of that. We truly do. This is one that was brought to my attention. I looked into it, and it appears that maybe we could have done a better job. And I'm very excited to hear that there's going to be a spraying. And some people had no weeds, some had a lot, and all points in between. And in talking to people, some of them did quite a bit of spraying and pulling and that kind of thing. So, there is a responsibility on the homeowner, of course. But I believe after looking at it and talking to people that I think we have a little bit more that we can do to try to make it work. So I'm happy to hear this. Thank you.
The only thing that worries me is there has to become a point where the city is no longer liable. If we step in as a council at every one of these projects and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this for a period of time, then everybody's going to expect that. So anyway, go ahead, Mr. Tech.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Roberts. Councilman Jones, I did reply to you. I got a response back, but there was nothing attached to your response. And my reply was fairly short. You asked if we had put in the materials in accordance with specifications, and I assured you that we did in my email. And then I got a response back, but there was nothing else. All your response had was your name. It didn't ask any further questions. So if I missed something, I apologize. But like I said, I don't know, maybe.
Then maybe we had a techno glitch because
Yeah.
I got your email. I replied suggesting that we do something. We spray. We get someone. So
all I got was your name back, and
Isn't
that
that
was
enough?
it. That was it. So I apologize if there was an additional question that I was unable to answer for you. So.
Sure.
And I'd be more than happy to visit with you one-on-one or go visit the site and meet with the homeowner if that's what it takes, so.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear something's going to happen. And yes, all these cases, require a look. Some are valid, some aren't. And yes, we have to be very careful as to the line we draw. But this is one that I felt the need to bring forward so we could get a look. And if it's going to be resolved and done, then it's done. Doesn't need to be on the agenda in 2 weeks. But I felt that it needed to come forward at this time. So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your comments. Thank you, gentlemen to the right. Thank you so much.
Good. Mr. Evans had one more comment.
Just one comment. Hopefully some of these issues that come from that sort of landscaping, any sort of landscaping, might be resolved over the course of our revision of the landscape/beautification ordinance, which I guess is sort of in limbo now, but is supposed to be taking place over the course of the next year or two. And all you have to do is look at under any of the bridges for the highways. I mean, it doesn't work. These weeds want to grow in any little crack they can find. You try and grow a tree, it'll never happen. But if you have a crack, there's going to be like some unkillable bush that shows up there. So hopefully we'll come up with something that works and is low maintenance and is effective in this particular climate, because we do have a particularly odd set of things where you can't get things to grow where you want and things will always grow where you don't want. It's just the way it is around here. So
Well,
that may be addressed.
That underscores the need to say no to crack. I would agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Now we'll move on to.
Mr. Roberts,
Go ahead.
if
Yep,
I may.
absolutely.
Thank you, sorry, just one more commentary on street construction in general. The city of Rapid City really is blessed with our capital improvement plan and the streets that we are able to reconstruct, primarily in residential areas. And we do that at no cost to the citizens that live adjacent to it. There are many, many communities across the state of South Dakota and certainly across the nation that when streets get reconstructed, they are assessed a portion of that. And state law does allow the city of Rapid City to do that. We have just never done that. So this is truly a public-private partnership, as I hate to paraphrase Alderman Nordstrom, but it truly is, where collectively we're able to reconstruct residential streets, generally put back what was there, but certainly there's some duty on our residents to help take care of that, to take ownership of either new sod that's placed or landscaping, and to maintain that so it survives and lasts forever. I do remember about 10 or 12 years ago there was a push to eliminate landscaping rock in the boulevard, and it's people are just as passionate about it having it as are those who are passionate about not having it. So that's a very difficult road to go down, and based on our experiences way back when, I don't know that the city council would be able to prohibit that into the future. So just my 2 cents. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to consent items, items 1 through 9. I will open public comment. I don't have any in front of me, so I will close public comment, and then I will turn it over to the Public Works Department for any comments on these items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll discuss, I guess, items 2 through 8, actually 3 through 8. City Engineer Hall will speak to item number 2.
Item number 2 is a change order for our project in conjunction with the La Crosse Street diverging diamond interchange. Part of the project, we had a water line break during the project, and we are taking the opportunity now to go ahead and fix the road where the water line broke. It caused some pretty severe damage. That's right underneath the bridge. Councilman Lehman, you guys have talked about this area, and we're going to go from there down towards that little pawn shop, I guess it is, to the south, so underneath this drive. And it's just going to be a rehab. It's going to be removing the bad asphalt that's there, reconstructing it, and putting it back together. So it's just an opportunity we're taking now. So.
I'll continue on. Item 3 is a change order to Zanstra Construction for debris fencing and berm construction on solid waste. It is a no-cost change order. There was some additions and reductions, therefore no cost to the city. Item number 4 is a oversize payment. We did enter into an oversize agreement with the school district. This is in relation to, I believe it's South Middle School reconstruction of the new building. There are some underground drainage facilities that convey regional water, if you will, or water from off-site across their site. So this is payment for those oversizing elements to that project. Item number 5 is a professional services agreement. This is for our claroflocculator. I knew this word would come back in front of you, and here it is today. So this is for the construction administration on this project. Item number 6 is an agreement with Bartlett and West to take a look at, I believe it's some of our controls and our water system. Certainly this year with the being dry, we've got to keep pace with our water demands and growth, so this contract will allow Bartlett and West to do some analysis on our control system for our water to make sure that we're doing the best that we can with our system. Item number 7 is a purchase of a vacuum air sweeper or street sweeper, if you will. As you can see, it's off of a Sourcewell contract or Transource contract. It is a budgeted item. And then finally, item 8 is to seek proposals for consulting services at the solid waste for environmental monitoring. This is an annual contract that we do. This particular one, I believe, will be looking for a 5-year term on this contract. It has a lot to do with testing and monitoring of stormwater runoff, landfill gas, et cetera, other items. So we are in compliance with our environmental permit through the Department of Ag and Natural Resources. And that is it for items 3 through 8.
Thank you. Do we have anybody that has any comments on items 2 through 8? Go ahead, Councilman Stroman.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just ask Dale a question about number 5? And I'm not going to ask you to pronounce it again. But what is this professional construction administrative services? Is that by the people who are manufacture or install this? Who are we paying for that?
No, this is an engineering consulting firm. As one would imagine with a wastewater treatment system, the facilities that are built are highly technical. There is specialized equipment that is spec'd for the project. So to ensure compliance with the design plans, we hire construction administration services for many of our projects to ensure that the equipment and concrete and everything that is needs to be top-notch is inspected, and that everything meets the specifications as designed during the construction.
Okay, and then do those people that provide those services, do they give any kind of a warranty, or do we get that warranty from somewhere else?
No, the warranty would be through the contractor. So this construction administration services is just to ensure compliance with the design, and also to make the pay applications monthly, so they keep track of what work has been done, the progress on the project, and then submit that to us so we can pay the contractor for the work that was done in compliance with the contract.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Go ahead.
Question. How does that price get set? Because that looks like about 10% of the overall cost of the clarifier focculator. Wasn't that about an $11 or $12 million item?
Yeah, about $11 million.
So that's 10% of the cost of
Correct.
the item is just for overseeing its installation? How does that
There-
amount get set?
For any professional services agreement, there's a scope of services that is created, and I believe that's attached, and it is hourly estimated, so that they get paid by the hour, as any professional service would. So those costs are negotiated based on an hourly fee and an expected duration of the project based on the completion date of the bidding of the project. Once again, this is a highly technical project. There's a lot of specialized equipment that needs to be verified and certified that that is correct.
Well, I know that's the answer. I just still think it seems really high. I mean, when we design buildings, architectural fees and everything range anywhere from 4 to 10%, depending on the size, scope of the project, and whether it's commercial or residential. It just seems to be a really, really high number for something that is a device that's should work if it's installed properly. I don't know. I just wanted to make that comment. And I guess that's the way it is. Thank you.
Any other comments from the? If not, we do have one added item on the agenda now. Items from aldermen's, council members to discuss items regarding their committees, assignments, updates. So if anybody would like to discuss any of the committees they're on, you can do it now. No, because this is, we do have to, don't we? Yep, that's new. Sorry.
Approve items
1 through 9.
1 through,
No,
1 through 8.
1 through 9.
1 through 9.
We have a motion to approve items 1 through 9 by Councilman Evans, a second by Councilman Roseland. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And thank you, Bill, for pointing out my mistake. I'll move on to end of consent items. We'll move over to items from aldermen and council members to discuss items regarding their committee assignments, updates. If anybody has anything to discuss, you can. If not, I'll look for a motion to leave.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you.